What do you got for me?
What's wrong with you people?
I got nothing for you.
What's wrong?
You're not David. How y'all feel this morning? I feel rotten. That's how I feel. Well, that was enough for me. We could have had the benediction right there. That was so good.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to The Reformatory, the podcast for the local church and by the local church, and we are your local churchmen. My name is Josh, and I'm here, as always, with the man that needs no introduction, the captain, Jack Barry. Jack, my man, it's good to see you. Good to be with you. Good to be doing some radio magic with you, my friend. We're fresh off the Reformatory patron-only. Little break.
Yeah.
Little break.
Nice
Well,
little
and
break.
it was not so much of a break as that we recorded early. So
Yeah,
we still
true.
got the work done. You know,
True.
we were just a little early just because we had the Reformatory patron only smoke sesh over Zoom. That was super fun.
It was fun.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great turnout. Had a great just time talking with everyone that showed up. We're gonna do that again. That was a lot of fun. That was definitely a lot of fun. One of the new faces in there, like it's little time for a little business, little business action here. Is we have a new patron to shout out, and that is someone that showed up to the smoke sesh, took advantage of our free trial that you can get over there on the old Patreon. Maybe you want to test drive the car a little bit. You know, you want to test drive the car before you commit to buying. I get it. I do the same thing. You can get that free trial over there on the Patreon and see what we're all about before you put your hard-earned $5 toward that. And that's what this individual did. And then he committed. He liked what he saw. He liked how the car drove, Jack. He liked the cut of our jib, and he stuck around. I'm talking about Mr. Johnny Hernandez. Johnny, legend.
Cool dude.
Over there. Cool dude.
Yeah.
Loved getting to know Johnny, chat with him on the Patreon. That was super fun. And glad he stuck around, glad he enjoyed it. I mean, I'm assuming he did. Maybe he just forgot, you know how that happens. You know, you'll sign up for that free trial and then you'll forget, and you're like, oh no, it charged my card. I got to remember to go cancel that. Hey, if he cancels next week, then we know that's what it was. But for right now, as of this week, he is a full-fledged member of the Reformatory Patreon and therefore do all the honors that are his by rights. So Johnny, we thank you for joining the Patreon, and our pledge to you, my friend, has been fulfilled, for your name has been hallowed.
Hallowed, sir. Hallowed.
Hallowed through the halls of the podcast. Jack, so tax return hit, right?
Yeah.
Tax return hit. Best tax return we've gotten since we've been married. And it's because my accountant, I finally went to an accountant. I just bit the bullet. She changed all the way that we did filing, and super fun. Right? Nobody cares. I'm talking about taxes right now. Good. All I have to say, the tax return hit, and my wife said,
I'm just surprised you didn't get audited. I was hearing a huge slew of people talk about getting audited because IRS be using AI nowadays, I guess. So
great. We're gonna give AI guns now. Anyway, the wife said, hey, you got to take a little bit of that money, not all of it, dude, like chill, take a little bit and, spend something nice. So I already confessed this to Jack, but I'm confessing this to our people as well, because I am all about transparency here on the Reformatory. Jack, I found myself wandering the halls of Cigar Bid. Cigar Bid was calling my name. And I found the free fall section in which some insane deals.
Dude.
And I'm not going to say what exactly happened, but
a box showed up today.
I have a massive cardboard box that just showed up in the mail.
All I remember,
it's so heavy.
All I remember,
dude, it was not good. In a blender, dude. I needed you. This is your fault. You weren't there for me when I needed you.
Fault. No.
You weren't there for me, dude. I had one too many Coke Zeros, and I just was on Cigar Bid, and
All I remember is a couple weeks. I think it was the Saturday after we did the smoke sesh. Josh texts me at like almost 9 o'clock at night, and he goes, "Jack, I have this many cigars coming in the mail," and I put a gif of Cam Newton just slinking down in his seat, dying. Yeah. He's like, you folded like a cheap table.
I did.
You said
100%. It was bad. So if you want to know, ladies and gentlemen, what is in this box?
What your taxes went to.
Okay. You'll have to sign up for the Patreon because we're going to be going through what old Joshy got in this box over on the Patreon. Exclusive content for exclusive members over there, Jack. But let's just say the money went to a good cause. Okay. It went to a good cause, and your boy's set up for a little bit, which, praise the Lord for that. But if you want to know what's in that box, you're going to have to head over to the Patreon, like Johnny did. But Jack, my friend, it's enough lollygag, and time to get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast, and that, as everyone knows, begins with our favorite segment, Don't Forget to Eat Your Instantgrams.
And now's the time you've all been waiting for. The Reformatory Podcast presents Don't Forget to Eat Your Instantgrams with your hosts, Josh Loftus and Jack Barry. And remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough.
This is Don't Forget to Eat Your Instantgrams. And remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough. That's how it works these days. Jack, my friend, I've got some fun ones for you. This is a good week. This is a good week. We're taking a little break from the real cringe ones, and hitting you with some fun ones. I actually really like this first one. I agree with wholeheartedly. I am all in on this first one, 100%, no equivocations whatsoever. I'm gonna let my man explain this to you.
Oh, Christians will order a number one from Chick-fil-A, large, extra cheese, extra bacon, extra calories, with a large chocolate shake, a large lemonade, and a side of mac and cheese, and then have the nerve to pray to God, let this be a nourishment to my body. That might kill you.
So true. Coronary heart disease.
Kill you.
Yeah. Man, we gotta put that on. Like,
my man's speaking truth, dude. He's speaking truth. That's 100% true.
Yeah. I mean, we went
audacity of us to thank the Lord, bless the hands that prepared this food, and bless this food to our bodies, give us nourishment for this food. It's like, dude, you're eating 3,000 calories. Possible coronary heart attack coming up. You
right down
failure.
The gullet.
The Lord is up in heaven looking down, thinking, I'm not honoring that prayer because there's nothing there that's at all from me.
Them calories, yeah. I question them.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay, this next one was sent to us by listener Buddy Boone. Shout out Buddy in the house. The Boom.
Buddy, good friend of the show.
Good friend of the show. Good friend of the podcast. Great choice in reels. He keeps sending us a lot of good ones. Send us a lot of good ones. All right. But this one's an experience. All right. What we got here is a lady doing some preaching. Looks to be in a foreign country of African nature. It's the charismatic movement over there in the Africas, Jack. And this is what they're dealing with over there.
Why are you taking it
That sounds like a demon.
You know what the first thing that I heard when I heard that? Yeah, I want you to listen to this again. Listen to this one more time. So, okay, for the audio listeners only, like I said, it's this lady with a microphone, like she's hyping the crowd up, and is obviously
it says the Apostle Paul. I'm assuming it says if the Apostle Paul were alive today, he would
write a letter to the churches in Nigeria, because what is this?
Wow.
Why are you taking it
Dude, all I heard
corn?
was
Is that corn?
freak on a leash, dude.
I mean, it's that and Gollum basically is what you got. I mean, that's the combo. Yeah, dude,
Give us money, precious.
pretty much.
Oh my goodness, Jack!
Oh, wow.
Such good
Wow.
stuff today for the Instagrams. Loving every minute of it. Jack, we're talking about something kind of unique, kind of niche today, and that is kind of the importance of having some. I would label it self-awareness when it comes to ministries in your local church, and knowing when it is a good time to pivot your focus, to shift the focus, because the reality is needs in local churches change. They change with the size of the church. They change with the demographic of the people that are in your church, right? Different churches are going to experience different deficits or different needs depending on many factors within that particular local church. It's not a bad thing. That's just how it works, right? The needs that we have at Redeemer in Cedar Woolley are going to be different than the needs that you have down there in Tacoma, because we're different churches filled with different people and different demographics of people, ages, lifestyles, stages in life. Again, like there's so many factors that work into that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there is this mentality sometimes in local churches in which we get so laser focused in having certain ministries within our local church because, that's what that's what a successful church has, right? For example, youth group, having a youth group, right? We got to have a youth group, right? Because that's what all churches have. A good church has a good youth group, or a good church has a really thriving, Sunday school. We got it. We got to have that. We got to have, small groups that look this way, this certain way. Okay. And again, none of those in and of themselves are necessarily bad things. But what we need to be doing as local churches is understanding where our people are at, who it is that is coming into the doors of our churches, and having a realistic understanding of the needs that those people have, right? And not get so caught up in either a cultural understanding or a personal, having this personal agenda of, this is what our church needs to have, when, maybe that's just not a need that your church has in that moment, and your efforts, your time, your talents would be better focused and shifted somewhere else. So we're talking about pivoting and the need to pivot. Sometimes as a local church, as leaders, you need to pivot because the needs of your church change. And this is something that I was thinking of over the last couple months, is looking at kind of how the demographic of churches change, where you have, maybe, we're starting at our local church right now, like a class for the younger, like middle school age kids. We've never had that before because we haven't needed that, right?
Yeah.
But we have a whole bunch of kids that are coming into that age demographic, and we're seeing, hey, it'd actually be pretty valuable to have a space where they can come together with kids of their own age and be discipled in the word.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for Pastor David is going to be heading that up. I'm really excited for that, because that to me is a great example of, in my opinion, again, I'm going to hype up my church and my elders because I love them. Elders that have a good pulse, a good thumb on the pulse of the congregation. Where are the needs here? So that's where we're going to put our effort into, right? And that's important. You need that. So that's what we're talking about today, Jack. I know that you have experienced the same things that I have in seeing the need for kind of pulling or pivoting your focus away from one thing to another. And sometimes that's just the reality of where you are as a local church.
Yeah, I think for us down here in Tacoma, we're seeing more. We did this actually, gosh, when was this? We did it a couple of years ago. We actually started to actually make and pivot into a young adults ministry. So where younger, maybe like anywhere from like people from over the age of 18 into their 20s and maybe early 30s could start to have more fellowship with one another. And it seems like it's true, like, especially in the Northwest, I feel like there's certain ways in which you think churches automatically should have that age demographic and just organically should set things up. But really, like, there's never, the churches that I've been a part of have never had like official young adults kind of ministry. It's always been, I think, taken advantage of. And I think especially in the demographic in our church right now, I would say there's like, basically you have more younger growing families in our church. You have an older population or a growing older population of people in our church, older saints coming up. And then you also have kind of this scattering and smattering of young professionals, you know, in the wider range of the greater Tacoma area as well, too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's starting to happen in our church, at least. That's where we're seeing demographics happen. And so, yeah, I think we started that up, and there was one guy that we had basically lead it, who was through our Pastors and Leaders Institute that's leading it now with his wife. And so, yeah, that's the pivoting that's going to happen. I mean, it depends too on what happens in the future. I mean, I don't know if I've seen there's ways in which right now that I think younger men, to have a men's ministry, a greater men's ministry, all men's of all ages and generations, to have a men's ministry in your church right now, because I think younger men are really suffering in ways that we've never seen younger men suffer. Like, I would say, and I want to say, like, it's not the suffering that I'm talking about is basically it's an atrophy of things that you and I basically had growing up. We had certain mentors. We had older men kind of help us and tutor us in ways. We had ways in which we could, quote unquote, find our purpose and know about going through life in the right way. And I think younger men right now are just like lost both spiritually and like out there in the world in life right now. And you're seeing it in a lot of statistics. I think one of them is just, this isn't an overall thing, but there are less men in college right now than there ever has been in the last 40, 50 years.
Yep.
So less men are getting degrees. Less men are even like going into the workforce. And there's more mental health. There's more men in prison or being incarcerated. There's more men dying from suicide. Like, men are the number one people to die by suicide. So there's just a lot of stuff that I think it's happening. And so we actually did this strategically where our pastors, basically about myself and a couple other guys, so it was me and another guy that are basically more millennial, and then more of an older kind of Jesus movement kind of convert to the faith. We talked about basically like, hey, how can we go about revamping our men's ministry where it's just not a men's breakfast and that's it. But it's a way in which we can dig into content and talk to each other, see how each other's doing, kind of dive in deeper into our lives and have more friendships than just the men's breakfast where it's a once off every month and that's all you're going to get. So,
no, that's exactly right. Yeah.
So that's the kind of pivoting too that needs to sometimes happen in your current ministries, that you just need to like, okay, this is changing in our culture. It could be ways in which that's happening to men or women differently in your church, just depending, or it's a demographic of people. Like I would say this, if you had a demographic of people in your church that were being affected by something, I'm pretty sure your church would have to pivot in order to start doing ministry in a unique way.
Absolutely.
That could be anything, and that could be anything, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And again, like I want to be very careful. Like this is not like what we are not advocating for is having a felt needs ministry in your church, right? It's like what is the felt needs of our church, and let's shape our entire structure around meeting the felt needs of the people. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about intentional discipleship. Yeah. Right? With the word of God being obviously central and the foundation of that. And there's always going to be constant demographics in your church, right? You're always going to have men, you're always going to have women. So there's going to be needs for specific discipleship that are pretty much across the board, never going to change, right? And those are kind of the larger, more common demographics that you're going to have. You're usually never going to have a church full of old guys or just all girls. That would be weird, right? You're going to have both, and you need intentional ministries that are focused to discipling those people. That's a good thing to do, right?
Yeah.
What we're talking about is having, again, the self-awareness, and I would add the humility, because I think that there's sometimes the pride that works into this, is not wanting to see a ministry, quote unquote, die. Right. Because it's lost its demographic. Right.
Yeah.
If if in the first couple of years of your church, you have a lot of young people. So you're like, hey, we've got a built-in youth group here. Let's focus on that. Right. Let's get all the youth together on Wednesday nights and, have a game and then give them some food, but then like have intentional discipleship with them. That's great. Praise the Lord for that. But say, in 4 years, they all graduate, and then you don't really have anybody in that dynamic anymore, or excuse me, in that demographic anymore. Mm-hmm. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a failure.
Yeah.
Right. We have to get our minds out of the worldly and cultural understanding of what success looks like. And in the local church and in the culture, success looks different. Yeah. Right? Numbers are not the barometer of success in the local church. They can't be. Because by definition, we are always going to be a remnant. We are small, and we're not going to be attracting, if we're doing things correctly and biblically, we're not going to be attracting people like the way that the world does, right? Yeah. So we got to get our minds out of that out of that mentality and realize that, hey, sometimes in the local church, the needs of that local church changes. And we have to be okay with that. We can't have this mentality, and just have this death grip on these ministries. Well, this is my ministry. This is what I started. This is like what else am I going to do if we don't have a youth group anymore? If we don't have young adults anymore? Like, then you're going to take those gifts that God has given you, and you're going to find another avenue and another way to use them in the local church.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And that's actually good. It's a good thing, right? It's not a bad thing. It should be encouraged. And I think a lot of people just need encouragement it's okay sometimes to let some things go, just as it's okay to sometimes focus in on some things, right? Yeah. Where are the needs in your local church, right? Like something Lauren and I have been talking about for a while is we're looking around our local church right now. And we might try to do this sometime, maybe in the summer, but there's a lot of newlyweds, people that have been married under 5 years.
Yeah.
And we've got actually quite a few couples that are in that demographic. And I'm looking around thinking, that would actually maybe be a really beneficial thing to do, to get these couples together and invest in them, invest in their marriages, so that they can continue to grow and flourish with one another. Right. I see that. And I think that's something that we should constantly be looking for, is those opportunities to disciple, right? And where is that discipleship going to be effective? Where's the need there? And then also, again, have the humility and I think the self-awareness to say, okay, this area is not in need anymore. It was, and it was met well, but it's no longer anymore. So we're going to pivot and we're going to refocus. And I just think that there's an aversion to that in a lot of churches, and there shouldn't be, because I think that just means that you're focusing on things correctly, and you're not, wanting to death grip something into the ground simply because, like we need to have this. It's like, well, you don't really have anybody in that demographic anymore. So I would argue that you don't actually need that. Right.
Yeah. You can also have like, here's something that's, it could be hit or miss too. So the demographics of veterans in your local church, like both service members who are active duty and people who are already out of the military and kind of like in their civilian careers, can fluctuate a lot. Sure. I think we're going through right now, we've had probably the most military members I've seen in the church, active duty wise, in a while. And I think that might change here within the next few months. And so some of it could be like walking alongside the one or two folks who are kind of still here and being like, hey, how are you doing? I know this is, it really depends too on how people treat their military service. I was always of the opinion, I really stuck with the people in my local church. And it really didn't matter if I was in the military, but sometimes folks really care about that identity, a lot, and it affects them in different ways. And so, it's interesting to where, we're probably going to have, a lot of changeover happen here in the next couple to few months. And so it's kind of like asking the current folks who are still in the military, hey, are you doing okay? And they were also they're still a part of like the young adults group. And so that's, I think, a subcategory of that ministry that's happening.
Sure.
But when stuff like that happens, it kind of is like, okay, this person is, a lot of this person's demographic is leaving. I wonder if they're doing okay.
Sure.
And just like expressing some stuff, that maybe typical people may not express. So there's certain stuff like that too, that can come up here and there that you need to pivot. Sometimes you may have, I mean, since we're so close to base, I know there's probably going to be an influx of newer people, I would assume, coming into the base this summer, because that's usually when it happens. Newer folks start moving different bases. So it's kind of like adjusting to that. But also too, like a lot of people in your local church, like a lot of the older folks, there could be a changing of the tide in the next like few years of those folks. And you never know that. Sure. And then that changes your whole wave, like Josh talked about, to where once you didn't have a middle school, once you didn't have like a youth group, and then all of a sudden this demographic goes to be with the Lord, and then this demographic is coming up, right? How are you going to adjust with that? Yeah. And it's really coming together, as your leaders, and hopefully as people, even just members, just saying, hey, I see this. Hopefully there's a good communication pathway to both members and your pastors and leaders, to where you can say, hey, I'm seeing this change in our local church demographics. Yeah. How can are we going to address this? Like, what's going on here? Just like stuff like that. Right. Is always helpful. So like be aware of kind of what's going on in your local church. Even be aware of like, I think this is always going to happen, but I feel like in the, like right around 2000s, like around 2000 to 2022, 2023, I felt there was an influx of a lot of people coming into the church that had been hurt by previous churches. Yeah. And I feel like that's somewhat, I wouldn't say calm down, but I know there's people out there that still experience that. Sure. And that still happens. But I felt like that was the biggest influx of people moving away from one church, going into another, hey, there is a huge influx of people
Sure.
coming to our church who were previously at this church. Can we address that? Can we
Yeah.
talk and minister to those folks?
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
what happened there? Like, how can we help them? Like, there's that
Yep.
kind of stuff that may come up. There's just a bunch of different stuff that could come up, to be quite
Absolutely.
honest. And
Yeah.
it's really you being aware and knowing that as things change, like being able to be flexible and to be caring of the flock of God when that happens. But yeah, that's always something interesting. Cause I mean, right now we're at a unique period in time where we have so many generations living together. Like
Sure.
we've never had this amount of generations living together in the United States ever before in the
Right.
history of the country. And that might sound really dumb because we've only been a country for like 250 years. Like that's nothing comparison to time, but there's a lot of stuff that happens and
absolutely.
you never know. You never know
Yeah.
what happens. And so I think what Josh and I are really trying to point y'all to is to understanding that be prepared. Like you may be in a season where you're quote unquote out of a season of ministry, and within this year, like that out of season time in ministry could shoot you right back into ministry because of stuff.
You never know. Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And keep your thumb on the pulse of your congregation, right? That's what we do. Right. And whether you're in leadership or, you know, you're a deacon or you're a member, whatever that looks like, right? We should all be investing in the local church using the gifts that God has given us to do so. And yeah, find where that need is, right? Find where there is a place. I guarantee you there is. Sometimes you just got to look a little harder, get a little creative, ask the elders, right? Hey,
Yeah.
I want to serve. I want to be part of the body. How can I do that? Where is there a need, right? I've said this before. I love that question. All right. We just had she's not even a member yet. She's a potential member. She's going through classes, wants to be a member. We're working through the process. She came up to me the other day and she was like, hey, she's a trained, she cuts hair. I forget. Is that a cosmetologist? Is that what that is? Cosmetologist?
A barber
Well,
or cosmetology.
no, like-
yeah.
Yeah, like a barber's for men. I forget.
Yeah.
Anyway, she cuts hair. She's like, hey, I want to use this skill that I have. I want to teach the moms of the church how to cut their kids' hair because I know that that's like expensive. And dude, I was like, dude, that is one of the coolest things because it's such a specialized skill, right?
Yeah.
And she wants to use it for the church. Like that, that puts me on cloud nine, dude. I love it when I hear stuff like that because it's these people that understand this gift that I have, this thing that God has given me. I have been given it to bless his people with, right? And that's so wonderful. So we should all have that mentality. Her name's Amanda. Shout out Amanda. I don't think she listens, but that's okay. Awesome stuff. But anyway, it's okay to pivot. It's okay that things change. Sometimes ministries, they end.
Yeah.
And sometimes ministries start, but the ministry never does.
Yeah.
The ministry of the gospel, the ministry of the word, that is constant, that is ongoing, and that will always be a need. How that is applied changes, and that's okay. That's an okay thing. That's not a bad thing. Don't be averse to change. Know what your congregation needs and seek to meet those needs with the word of God. That's what we do, and the church is blessed. So, Jack, we're gonna get out of here, my man. We've got stuff to do. We got Patreon to get to. I gotta show the folks what's in this big old box.
Oh my gosh!
So we gotta go do that. We got some some of that to get to. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Jack, why don't you get us out of here, dude?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you appreciate Josh and I's smatterings, if you will, on the local
Smatterings,
if you will,
smuckerings.
Yes. You can follow us on the sociables. Yes, you can follow us on those things, the social medias, the sociables. You can send us a direct message. You can comment on crazy reels and clips that I know mostly Josh will do about crazy things happening around American evangelicalism. That's pretty nuts.
Dude, the one that I did off the pastor that was like pulling his pants off on the stage, that went yard.
boy.
Dude, that went yard.
Oh,
like
boy.
180,000 views. It's insane.
Nuts. You can,
Having
like I
fun.
said, you
Having
can send us episode ideas. If you're going through something at your local church and you're just like, how do I navigate that? That'd be a great episode for us to tackle.
For sure. Yeah.
And
now
try and-
let's not call anyone out, right? Like, be like, I'm really mad at my pastors. I want the reformatory
Yeah, let's
to
not do that.
torch them
Yeah.
for 35
No,
minutes. Yeah,
we're
let's
not doing
let's
that.
not do that. Let's not do that.
maybe you're a ministry leader and you're just like, hey, it'd be a good follow-up episode to be like, how do I pivot in this
There you go.
season that we're going through? That'd be
There
a
you
better
go.
episode idea for us. Anyway, you can follow us on the Sociables, the Facebook, if you will. Follow us on that one. The Metaverse, also, it's called. The Instantgram. Not only does it go well with a little sprinkle of heresy, but chocolate and marshmallow as well, too. The always interesting Sociable, formerly known as Twitter X, and you can find us at all of those Sociables at the tag at Reformatory Pod. And Josh, you can tell the lovely people how they might support us further in our endeavors here.
That's right. We're going to run through these real quick. If you're on YouTube, if you want to watch this as well as listen to it, head on over to YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bells, notifications, as the kids say. You can review this podcast, like this podcast on Apple and Spotify. Helps us get the podcast out to more people, so more people are encouraged to love their local church. We love hearing that. Last but not least, we got a Patreon. You heard it, all right? You can follow the lead of Johnny. Legendary Johnny. A lot of good songs with the name Johnny in it. Johnny Be Good.
Yeah.
The one from that band from Australia. Be Good, Be Good. Be Good, Be Good, Johnny. Right? I guess that's a different Johnny Be Good. Men at Work. That's the name. Men at Work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Men at Work.
80s.
I come from a land down under. Right? Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But you can head on over to the Patreon. You get exclusive content there, multiple bonus episodes every week. You get this episode early. You get, like I said, we send a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, you're going to get to see what's in the special box. I'm telling you,
boy. Oh,
$5
my
a month. That's all it is. It's less than a Starbucks drink. I bought a
It's true.
Red Bull spritzer the other day with $6. I could have had an entire month of reformatory for the cost of one Red Bull spritzer. If you choose to do so, our pledge to you is that your name shall be hallowed.
Hallowed, sir. Hallowed.
Hallowed through the halls of the podcast. That is our pledge to you. We thank you all for listening, and we will catch you on the next step of the Reformatory.